Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Sandra Villarreal, and I want to welcome you to the FY27 Safe and Secure DC Nonprofit Pre-Bidders Conference. Today, um, I'll be joined by Julie Sidwell, Management Analyst from the Deputy Mayor for Public Safety and Justice Office. Julie will be helping me with any questions that you guys may have, and if you could please add your questions on the chat, and at the end of the presentation, I will do my best to answer them, and I will also request for you guys to email me your questions, for then that way we could also post it on our website. And once again, my name is Sandra Villarreal. I'm the Grants Management Specialist, and we will be going over the presentation. So, about the office. So the Office of the Deputy Mayor for Public Safety and Justice provides directions, guidance, support, and coordination to the district's public safety agencies to develop and lead interagency public safety initiatives to improve the quality of life in the district's neighborhoods. So then now we're going to go on to the program and funding and goals. So approximately, we have been allocated $1 million for this FY27 to enhance the security and safety at physical sites of nonprofit organizations located here in the district. Award size may vary, and eligible organizations can be funded for a minimum of 25K for projects that meet the criteria outlined in the RFA. All funds must be concluded and spent by September 30th of 2027. And if an applicant has multiple locations here in the district, they could submit up to 2 separate applications for the different locations. The goal of this grant is to enhance the physical and the cybersecurity at-risk nonprofit facilities, protecting the lives and properties of district residents and visitors from terrorist and extremist attacks. The grant will support nonprofit activities in 3 key areas: protecting soft targets, crowded places, and planning and or exercises or trainings. And on the next slide, you'll be able to see these 3 core things that I'm looking for in the presentation. In your RFA, in your request for application. So the focus areas, like I mentioned before, are enhancing and protecting the soft and target and crowded areas. And here are some examples of what that means. So in order to protect your facility, maybe you want to install cameras, so or hire private contractor security guards or personnel security guards. And then the cameras, this year we are requiring for them to be, your cameras to be integrated with the MPD Real-Time Crime Center. And there's a website on the RFA and here on this link where you guys could look up more information about it. And then the next is planning. So if you guys are planning to use the grant funds to update your risk assessments, or do a risk assessment in your organization or things like that, or develop security plans and protocols, emergency or contingent plans, evacuation, shelter in place plans. That's something that the grant funds can fund. And then exercises and training. So then for long-term visibility and reduction, if you want to have active shooting training or security training for employees, or anyone in your facility, that's also valid, and an eligible cost that you guys could use the grant funds for. And then on our next slide, it's about the eligible applicants. So eligible applicants for this program must meet this criteria. The program is designed to support physical sites here in the district. So with that said, we can't fund applicants that are trying to do an event in the district and their offices are located in the district. We could only fund within the office location. We can't fund, let's say the organization wants to have an event let's say at Capitol Hill or something like that. Our grant funds can't fund security outside of your facility. And then there's a new section in the RFA in section 2 eligibilities 2.1 applicant readiness and eligibility screening. So all applicants must complete the readiness and eligibility screening questions in Zoom grants under the eligibility questions tab. Please answer all questions listed in this section directly in Zoom grants. So for example, if you want to apply to get cameras, but are not committed to connecting your cameras with the crime center, it's okay for you not to apply for that part. We won't be able to fund you for that. But if you want to apply for security guards or enhancing your facility with other security measures, that's something that you could still apply for. We're not saying that you can't be eligible at all if you don't make the decision, but you are eligible for other parts of enhancements that you might want to do to your nonprofit organization, or if you want to hire security guards, that's also still available. But you'll see more in detail in the RFA in section 2, under 2.1, like all the eligibility questions of what we are looking for an applicant to have when it comes to being ready to receive money from the district, since these are free dollars that we are awarding to grantees or applicants. We want to make sure that you have the financial ability to receive a reimbursement grant. And that's the other thing too, that we want to push, that this is a reimbursement grant. So dollars spent, invoices submitted, and then we're able to pay back. And then so that's that. So then the deputy mayor's office reserves the rights to award funds under any funding source, regardless of the applicant's designated section. Okay, and then funding, eligible funding uses. So you may not, you may, so the first one is you may use your grant funds for salary and fringe benefits, for termed employees or contracted employees responsible for performing protection and enforcing functions for the organizations. For example, special police officers, security guards, off-duty law enforcement officers. And for the off-duty law enforcement officers, we do require that they're literally offline, like they can't double dip at all. Like they have to make sure that if they're working with you guys is separate from whatever law enforcement that they are doing in other times. So then we also have equipment, training materials, uniform, first aid, and other medical materials and equipment that the program may need, and then other specific and approved causes that support improving the public safety within this grant program. And you may not use the grant funds for food expenses, travel expenses, lobbying, expenses made prior to the grant being awarded to you. So let's say you were in the process of installing cameras already, but like we can't help pay off those cameras. Like it has to be something new to this grant program. Any existing debt, payments, tax owed, we can't pay for that. And expenses which are reimbursed by a different grant program, we can't pay for that. If you're receiving a grant from the District of Columbia, personnel use, or other uses that are not related to this grant program, we will not be allowed to reimburse you back for. And then the grant application checklist. So you could go to page 17 in the RFA, and this is the list of the documentations that were like the checklist basically to have a complete application with us. So you can look through those, and then this continues. These are the other documentations that we would need for you to upload into Zoom grants. And also remember, we cannot accept anything via email, via mail. Everything has to be submitted through Zoom grants. And then here, now we're gonna go into the scoring and points. So this is the application is scaled at 100. And here is our point system. But if you were to be scored 60 or less, you will not be eligible for funding, unfortunately. And then program timeline. So you can find this on page 9 on section 3.2 of the RFA. So today we're at our pre-bidders conference, and then the last day for you to submit questions and for us to put on our website would be Wednesday, July 29th at 5 p.m. After that day, we will not accept any more questions for this application. And then we will close the application. Zoom Grants will close the application on August 5th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Please remember to submit your applications on time. Don't wait last minute, because when you wait last minute, there's things that will go wrong. Everyone's going to be trying to submit at the same time, and that may cause for you not to even be able to submit your application. The system might go down, and our deputy mayor's office is not liable for applicant not being able to submit their application on time. So please take the time to submit the application on time, so then that way there's no any technical issues that might happen during that time. And then we will notify everyone no later than October 1st of who's been awarded and also who's been declined. And then the grant period is from the date that you're awarded through September 30th, 2027. And then as those eligibility questions that I spoke about earlier and about readiness, something huge that we want to continue to push on is that the grantees, if you are awarded, you are required to submit quarterly reports, programmatic reports, and a completed invoice package into Zoom Grants for my office to approve. And here are the dates. So make sure you look at these dates, make sure that you're committed to submitting these reports on time, because you're not submitting this report, then you become non-compliant, then you become a high-risk applicant. And our office will take note of that. And that's not something that will benefit you in the future if you do plan to reapply, because we need to make sure that you're ready. It's $3. So there's a lot of pressure, and we also award a good amount of applicants. So, and it's a one team, it's not a huge team that we have here. So I'm a one person doing all this, and with the support, of course, of our leadership to approve these invoices and stuff like that. But we do need you to be committed to these dates, submitting the reports and the completed invoice packages. And when that time comes, I'll give more details about that if you are awarded. And then, so then the last, October 1st will be the last opportunity that a grantee has to submit its invoice. Of course, we want to do it before then, because there's also the whole, the district ends their fiscal year on September 30th. After September 30th, it's really hard to get you paid out. So the faster you're able to complete your project and your readiness on it, like submitting all your documentations, the better it helps all of us as a whole. And then the application, like I mentioned before, the application deadline is on Wednesday, August 5th. And then we do not accept any manual applications. Everything has to be through Zoom Grants. And if you submit after the deadline, you would be considered ineligible. And for fairness, like I mentioned before, please submit your questions by Wednesday, July 29th, to this email, and we'll be posting them on our website. And that's all. Thank you guys for joining. But if anyone has any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
To drop in the chat, and we can read those off, or take yourself off mute as well.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who came in late, I'm Julie. I'm Sandra's colleague.
Okay, cool.
Hi, my name is Angela. I am so sorry to be coming in late, was running late from a different meeting. This would be our first time applying. I'm with the Salvation Army. I was wondering if you could go through just a few examples of what we could apply for through this funding opportunity.
So, So the things that I mentioned before, so if you look on our RFA, there's a program overview of the things that you could apply for. So our three key focuses are enhancing and protecting the soft targets and crowded places. So what that would mean is if you want to protect, let's say you're having an event or at your facility where that you need security guards at. That's something that you could use the grant funds for. So security costs, and I mentioned before, like if you want to use the grant funds to pay for cameras, you also have to connect it to the real-time crime center. So then let's say you want to buy metal detectors, that's something that's eligible under this grant. So anything that enhance your facility from protecting it from terrorists and extremist attacks, that's what you could apply for in this grant. And then planning, let's say you want to build a security plan or protocols, that's someone that you could hire a contractor to come to your facility to let your facility is at risk to getting terrorist attacks or extremist attacks because of this and this and this and that. So those are different things. And then training. So exercise and trainings. Let's say you want to get your staff trained for a terrorist attack or an extremist attack, like shelter in place, active shooting training, response exercises. Those are things that the grant funds are eligible for funding.
Okay, thank you so much. May I ask a follow-up question on the security guards?
Sure.
So we have a location in Southeast DC, and I believe that there are security guards, but I'm not sure about their schedule. Is it something where we could apply for funding for an existing security guard situation, or would it just be
Yeah.
for like if we were to expand the hours?
No, you could use it for existing security guard
Okay.
costs that you have in place. The only thing that we won't be able to fund is, for example, if you start like a project, a security guard, like not a security guard, like a physical project in your office, and you're
Hmm.
looking to pay the difference, I don't think that's something we would be able to pay for.
Okay.
To be honest, but I'll talk to my leadership about it, but I don't, it's something that has to be new to this grant
Okay.
program. Yeah, and you also have to show proof, or like your application has to score high, and
Hmm.
making sure that you can explain why you feel like you need this grant because of extremist attacks or terrorist attacks and stuff like that.
Okay, that is very helpful. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
Quick question, Warren Gill from HIPS. In the there's a, you've gone over the kind of three focus areas. In terms of funding, do you have a prioritization between those areas? Do you have an ideal distribution of how you want to distribute the money across those areas at all, or is it all kind of even?
It's kind of even. It all depends what the applicant applies for, to be quite honest with you. And depending how many applications we receive, I do try to share the funds. If everyone scores above 60 or more, I mean, like you have to have a really great application. And that comes into variation, and that's explained in the RFA. Being able to score high in your application and just showing, that this grant program will support your organization in whatever way. And then any past, like I would recommend if you guys have site visits that you've completed that have been stellar, anything that shows that you guys are ready to do this grant fund and that this grant fund is going to support your organization also comes into play, all of that. But the final decisions of course, on the deputy mayor. Hey.
I don't see, Sandra, any additional questions in our chat. Is there anyone we missed? Any final questions?
No, I think we're good. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. I appreciate your time, and please email us if you guys have any questions. I'm super excited to read your application soon. And good luck. Best wishes.
Thank you. Take care. Have a nice day.
Thank you.